Hey, second graders! Today we are going to be reading The Three Snow Bears by Jan Brett. I know in my class we've been doing a Jan Brett author study and illustrator study, and we've been learning a lot about her amazing illustrations and her stories about animals. So as we read this story, I want you to pay attention to who are the characters in the story. What are they like? What do they wear? And we're also going to pay special attention to the borders and the pictures that are going on along the edges of the book, because those often tell another story or give clues as to what is coming next. So this is The Three Snow Bears. "Come back!" Aluki shouted as her huskies floated out to sea. Oh no! She knew that although an ice floe is a good place to fish, it is a bad place to lose a dog team. Not far away, a snow bear family had just started to eat their breakfast, but it was way too hot for Baby Bear. So that's what we see happening right here, is the snow bear family eating their breakfast. And over here we see Aluki's sled dog team floating away. "Owie!" yowled Baby Bear. "My breakfast burned my mouth." "We'll go for a stroll and let the soup cool," Mama Bear said. So now we have kind of the parallel. We have the snow bear family here, and here we can see what's happening with Aluki and her snow dogs, her sled team. Aluki was running along looking for her dogs when she came upon the biggest igloo she had ever seen. Who lives here? She wondered. Aluki ducked inside. Right away she smelled something delicious. Across the room she saw a big bowl, a middle-sized bowl, and a small bowl. Surely the good smell was coming from the three bowls. So if we look here, we can see the three snow bears, and I'm wondering if they're noticing the sled dogs who are now howling. I'm also noticing something about a big bowl, a middle-sized bowl, and a small bowl. And I'm wondering, does this remind you of another story you've heard before? It's reminding me of one too. Let's read to see if there are more similarities. Aluki took a sip from the biggest bowl. "Ow!" she cried out, "too hot." She took a sip from the middle-sized bowl. "Ew, too cold." She tipped up the littlest bowl and drank every drop. She said, "not too hot and not too cold." So if we look on the panels here, my friends, we see the bears taking off their coats and diving into the water. I wonder what they're doing. In the next room, Aluki spotted 3 pairs of beautiful boots standing in a row. She put on the biggest boot. "Too big," she said. She put on the middle-sized boot. "Too fancy," she said. She put on the littlest pair. "Just right," she said, wiggling her toes in the soft fur lining. Something else I'm noticing is that we have some other snow creatures who are all bundled up, and they're kind of holding up the frames that we're seeing the pictures in. Pretty cool. Aluki walked into the last room and found a long sleeping bench piled high with fur covers. Heat from the oil lamp warmed her cheeks and made her sleepy. Time for a nap, she thought. She crawled under the highest mound of covers. "Too lumpy," she grumbled. She tried the middle bed with the furry fringe cover, but sank down so far that she could hardly breathe. "Too soft," she said. She rolled over into the smallest sleeping place. The furry blanket was cozy and warm, and the pillow was just her size. "Just right," Aluki murmured, and was asleep before she could take her boots off. So, I'm wondering, friends, if we look here, what's happened? That's right, the polar bears have reached the huskies. If Aluki hadn't fallen fast asleep, she might have heard her dogs barking happily. Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear had spotted them adrift in the strong current and gone out to save them. The Snow Bear family was pushing Aluki's dog team back toward their igloo and safety. So if we see here, we can see that the snow drifts and the pieces of ice are empty because the Huskies have been rescued. And then if we look here, we can see the open door to the igloo. Oh, I wonder what the Snow Bears are going to notice when they get in there. Papa Bear crawled into the igloo and saw his big bowl sitting in a pool of spilled soup. "Someone has been tasting my soup," he roared. Mama Bear rushed in and saw that her soup had been sloshed around too. "Someone has been sipping my soup," she growled. "Someone found my soup," sputtered Baby Bear in her high squeaky voice, and they ate it all up. Papa Bear ran into the next room and saw his boots in the middle of the floor. "Someone has been trying on my boots," he boomed in his big bear voice. Mama Bear put on her fancy boots. "Someone has had these boots on," she huffed, "and the fur is all bunched up." Baby Bear saw that her boots had disappeared. "Someone has taken my boots and left behind these not as good ones," she wailed. So it looks like the sled dogs have fallen asleep, waiting for their owner. The bears ran into their bedroom. "Someone has been sleeping in my bed," Papa Bear bellowed. "Someone has been sleeping in my bed too," Mama Bear cried. Baby Bear peeked at her little bed and squeaked, "Someone has been sleeping in my bed, and here she is." And this is another really cool detailed drawing that we can see. We can see Aluki fast asleep in Baby Bear's bed. Aluki opened her eyes and saw 3 bear noses only inches away. She hopped out of bed and dove between Papa Bear's huge, furry legs. Uh-oh, looks like the dogs are waking up. Quicker than a seal, Aluki ran from room to room until she burst outside. Her huskies bounced around, barking and smiling their doggy grins. Aluki and her dogs flew over the frozen ice, dodging ridges and cracks. She looked back to wave a thank you to the Snow Bears. She couldn't see them, but she heard a big, gruff voice, a middle-sized voice, and a high, squeaky voice calling to her. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. All right, my friends, so now that we've finished the story, I'm wondering, have you read a story or heard a story before that this reminded you of? If you said Goldilocks and the Three Bears, you're right. This was a different version of the story Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So the next thing that I would like for you guys to do is I would like for you to find your yellow reader's notebook. So if you need to, go ahead and pause here and find your yellow reader's notebook. All right, once you have your notebook, you are going to tab over to the Books I Read tab, and you are going to go to your first open spot. My first open spot happens to be number 5. So we are going to add the 3 Snow Bears to books we have read. So go ahead and pause the video here and add the title, the author, and I've added the word illustrator because Jan Brett does both of these jobs. So pause here and add these to the first open spot in your reader's notebook. All right, my friends, once you're done with that, I've added some lines here to help with my illustration. I want to draw an illustration like Jan Brett's, where things are happening in the borders and things are happening on the inside. But first, I'm going to do my writing. So go ahead and flip to the other side of your reader's notebook. And here is the writing prompt that we are going to answer today. It says, my favorite part of the story was... And then at the top, I've given you a little reminder to write at least 3 sentences. So second graders, go ahead and pause here and work on your writing response. You're going to write what I've written and then write at least 3 sentences about your favorite part from the 3 snow bears. So pause here and work on that, please. Great job. I cannot wait to read what your favorite part of this story was. Now we can head back over to our illustration, and you can add a picture inspired by Jan Brett and inspired by the 3 snow bears. That's it for today, my friends. I hope that you really enjoyed this story, and I can't wait to read more Jan Brett books with you. Happy reading!